Welcome to Taste of Wellness. I'm Claudia, your host. Today is a very special day. We have the co-founder and author, Jean Sumner, here with us today. Welcome, Jean.
Hi, Claudia. Thanks for having me.
Now, as Jean already knows, what we do is we make quick, simple, easy, delicious, healthy meals. And today we're going to make, what are we going to make?
We're going to make two-bean chili, which is a yummy, what's your word? Yummified recipe, and it includes some beautifully colored vegetables, so when it's all done it just looks awesome. And it is called two-bean chili, but it doesn't really taste like chili, which is exciting for me because chili is not one of my favorite flavors, and this turns out to be one of my very favorite dishes.
That's awesome. Now I have to tell you, I hate beans. I do. I have bad childhood memories, but I actually did make this recipe and taste it ahead of time, and I have to tell you, I'm doing okay with beans. They're pretty okay in my book now, Jean, so I think you've converted me. So let's get started. What do you say?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so what we did a little bit earlier, because I am all about easy and I don't like to cry when I chop onions, so what I did was take one whole medium onion, gave it a rough chop, threw it in here, blended it up, and made it a fine chop. To this, I added already 2 cloves of garlic. Now this garlic has its skin on, so what I'm going to do is use my garlic press, throw the garlic clove in there with the skin on and all, and then I'm going to give it a quick press. And what's going to happen is the garlic's going to come out already minced, so I don't have to mince it, and without the skin. Look at that. Isn't that easy? Now you pop it open and the skin's there and you just pull it out. If you don't have a garlic press, what you can do is just go ahead and chop it up on your board and throw it in there. So I'm going to remove this now and I'm going to give it off to Jean, and what Jean's going to do is
I'm going to saute this in water, and the reason that we're sauteing it in water is because it is then fat-free. And since heart disease is the leading cause of death in this country, and fat is known to be a cause of heart disease, we try to use as little fat in our cooking as possible. So I just put a tiny bit of water in the bottom of the pan, and I'm going to turn the burner on and let it get warm. And because I'm not cooking with oil, I actually can put this in here before it's warm, because the concern with oil is that if you put your vegetables in too soon, they will just absorb the oil. Well, you don't have to worry about them absorbing water.
right. And a tip is if you'd like to add more flavor to it, and if you'd like to, you can use water or you can use vegetable stock, right? Have you made it with vegetable stock?
I have made it with vegetable stock. I've also made it with vegetable juice because I didn't have any stock. So you can do any of the 3 things. I don't find it makes a ton of difference because there's so many spices in it.
Right. The next thing that we're going to do while Jean is busy sauteing that, she's going to saute that for about the next 5 to 7 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I went ahead and rough cut a organic bell pepper. All the products that we use here are organic ingredients. We encourage you to use organic whenever you can and whenever it fits in your budget. But at least if you're not eating organic, at least you're eating a lot of fruits, vegetables, and beans. A whole food diet is what we believe here at Taste of Wellness. Scientifically proven to have better benefits for you. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a rough chop. So I'm going to use pulse. Again, I don't want to chop it up on the board. It's quicker for me to just put everything in here and give it a rough chop. So here we go. I don't want to over pulse it, because when I over pulse it, because our vegetables have a lot of water content in them, it would release all that water, and that's not what I want to do. So this one big piece in here, I'm just going to take aside and put it over there. I'm going to remove my blades, and then what I'm going to do is, the recipe calls for 1 can of diced tomato. Well, Jean and I decided that we wanted to use a regular tomato, which is okay. So if you don't have canned tomato on hand, but you have a regular tomato, go ahead and add that in. So I'm going to put this right over here, off to the side for a moment. Now Jean, when she heard that we were making this two-bean chili, said to me, I don't really like peeling a butternut squash. And the reason she doesn't like peeling a butternut squash is it has a very thick skin. So in order to peel it with a vegetable peeler, it takes a lot of energy. It also gets slippery as you're doing that. So I want to teach Jean a few tricks here. You want to take your knife and cut through and remove your stem. You would then want to go to the back of it and give yourself a flat platform. So we're going to cut off that end as well. And then, as you can see, the fruit has some shape to it. The squash has some shape to it. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and cut the squash right where it gets wide. And now what I did was I created a safer environment for me to cut. So we have a flat environment rather than a round environment, giving us stability to make sure that we're safe when we're using this. So rather than using a vegetable peeler, I'm going to treat this like a pineapple, and I'm just going to go around and cut the skin off. What do you think of this?
That looks pretty good.
How's that look to how you were doing it?
Way easier.
Way easier, and it's way safer because it's not slippery and she's not getting frustrated. So again, you want to treat it kind of like, I do this with a pineapple too. This is a great tip for pineapples because you know, those get slippery as well. And then this is a big piece to manage. I wouldn't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it again. It's all about, you want to make sure that you're in control of your knife. And you want to make sure that you have a nice, flat, stable cutting environment. And here we go. Takes no time at this, right? What do you think, Jean?
Yep.
You ready to take on butternut squash again? Or
that is way, way easier.
I told Jean, I said, I have a really great tip for you, but I'm not going to tell you until we do it on camera. Because otherwise you wouldn't get the, you know, all the thrill. Look at that joy. Look at the joy coming out of her. She's oozing joy over there. So we'll go ahead and last one. Just give it. Now for this, you know, everything you hear chefs say all the time, it's all about consistency in your chopping. And I made this with like 1-inch cubes the other day, and Jean tells me that she makes it with a little bit smaller cubes. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit smaller today. What I found is, ironically, you said that it tastes like chili. Well, it's not chili, but we call it chili. And when I made this the other day, I found the butternut squash to be kind of similar to the texture of a potato. Would you agree with that, Jean?
Yeah. It is.
It takes the texture of a potato in the chili. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give this nice, try to keep it as consistent as you can. It's making me look bad on camera, I'm telling you. So here we go. And just want to keep it consistent, again, for cooking purposes. If you have a thicker piece or a thinner piece, it's not consistent. You want them to have the same consistency. Through the magic of video, we saved you by not having to watch me chop up that whole butternut squash. You do want to take the seeds out of it because in the big round part, there's seeds in there. So you want to take the spoon and just scoop those out and the seeds come out. I'm going to hand this off to Jean, and she's now going to tell you what else we're going to do today.
Okay, I've browned the onions and garlic, and I'm adding a ½ cup of water. And when you do the onions like Claudia did the onions, it takes less time to brown them, so just remember that if you cheat a little, which is the easy way to cook. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of chili powder, and I'm going to add herbe mer, which is 17 herbs, and this, salt. And it says to add it to taste, so I'm going to do about ½ teaspoon. And then I've got red pepper flakes, and the red pepper flakes are, again, just to taste, and since I know Claudia likes things hot, we're going to put in some red pepper flakes, and of course a little black pepper, and this too is for Claudia.
I can't tell you, I like things spicy.
So then I'm going to add the butternut squash, the red pepper, and the tomatoes, which Claudia has in this beautiful little container. And as you can see, those pretty colors, you can see why this turns out to be a beautiful dish.
Yeah, you know they say eat a rainbow, and not the sugar-coated ones. We're talking all your fruits and vegetables. So while Jean's doing that, what I'm going to do is we're going to add cilantro to this in the finishing stages of this, when we're going to simmer it in about Jean's going to cook that now for about 7 to 11 minutes, depending upon how the tenderness of those butternut squash. So what we did is, cilantro is One, it's so aromatic. I just love the way that it smells. It's just, don't you think it's just fresh and clean, Jean?
Oh, yes, I love cilantro.
Yeah, and when you think of fresh and clean, it's ironic because what cilantro does, it is a detoxifier and it pulls heavy metals out of your body. Is that correct, Jean?
That is correct.
All
it's
right.
a great detoxifier.
Now, Jean uses stems and all. Normally I would not, but because Jean says it's good that way, we're going to do it that way, and it's less waste, so that makes more sense. And with herbs, you never want to like go back and forth with it like this. You want clean cuts right through, straight through. And the reason that you want to do this is herbs are very, 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 they're very delicate, and you don't want to bruise them. So you just want to do nice, clean, straight. You don't have to chop them up fine. It's not perfection. You just want to get it a little rough cut here, and you want to make sure that you keep the integrity of the herb. Nice, clean, slides through. Oh my goodness, Jean, that smells so delicious. Now this recipe normally calls for, what kind of beans, Jean?
It normally calls for kidney beans and black beans.
But we changed out the kidney beans because Jean doesn't like them. And we put in...
Pinto beans.
And why do you like pinto beans?
I don't know, I just like them better. It's not that I don't like kidney beans, it's just that the first time I ever made this, I didn't have any kidney beans, so I used what I had. And I think that's the magic of cooking, is you can use what you have.
Right. There's no wrong or right, it's just what you like, right?
Correct.
Keep it clean and simple and fresh ingredients, and it always tastes good. That's my theory, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Clean, simple, fresh ingredients. So what we're going to do is that's going to simmer for about 7 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and add our beans and our cilantro. So now that 7 minutes have passed, what Jean's going to do is she's going to add in the cilantro. That's a ½ cup of cilantro. And then we have a can of each bean that Jean selected. So she's adding that. And she's going to give that a quick stir. Right, Jean?
Right, and then we're going to simmer it for 20 minutes or until the butternut squash is soft. Okay, Claudia, it has simmered for the amount of time, and so I'm going to put it in this bowl so you can see how yummy and beautiful this stew is. Look at all those colors. Isn't that just beautiful?
That is gorgeous. Look at that. All those beautiful colors in there, from red and the green from the cilantro and the butternut squash and then the beans. Oh, it smells delicious. Jean, I think we have to taste this. Come on over.
Okay, let's not burn ourselves.
Let's not burn ourselves. It's pretty hot.
I love that flavor.
To get today's delicious recipe, please visit our website at worldwellnesseducation.org. I'd like to thank my special guest today. Thanks, Jean, for being here.
You're welcome.
It was a lot of fun. My name is Claudia. Until the next time, get healthier.
Buy my books.
One recipe at a time.